Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Theo from I Ain't Everybody's Uncle, and I know I'm coming to you look a little different. Got my gear on for uh, just in case situations might pop off. Who knows? But it's better to have it and need it, or have it and not need it, and need it and not have it. I tell all my friends and people out there that know me, go and make sure your family's safe. Make sure the people that are around you are protected. Make sure you're protected from any kind of tyrannical abuse. Uh, we as citizens and veterans, I just want to say to you guys that we took an oath to honor the Constitution and protect it from foreign enemies and domestic enemies. So I'm just letting you know that I'm not against America. I love this country, but I'm also a veteran of this country. And the things that I see going on are just, to me, really crazy, and just it's just out of the norm, man. It's like if you don't have uh, an issue that the government is attacking, guess what? Eventually it's going to come to you. Eventually it's going to come to your front porch. Now, I don't want to hold you up too much time, but I got something that I kind of wrote, and I want to send out to those the few people that have seen me disappear and kind of like withdraw from any kind of phone calls or text messages or anything like that. And I just want to read this, and hope you guys understand it. And like I said, one thing you got to understand is that if it fits the shoe, then wear it. If it doesn't fit the shoe, then the only thing I can do is apologize for where I am in my life right now. And yeah, sometimes it hurts. It really hurts letting people go that you love. But guess what? If it allows you to have peace and respect and acknowledgement through your own self love, then guess what? Do it. Because it doesn't matter what people do or say. If they can't respect you, or they don't show you the same thing or putting into your cup like you're putting into their cup, then you're just you're spinning your wheels. And I wrote a little something a couple days ago, and I want to kind of read it, and I'm going to try to do my best to get through it pretty fast. And here we go. I chose me, and I know this is going to piss some people off, and that's okay. And that is not my intent, but me choosing me is also my healing process. I have experienced disrespect from people who say they love me, but the disrespect is easy for them because they say it's okay, it's just me, and I'll get over it. I will get over it. And I made the mistake of forgiving the disrespect and moving on. I never thought how much the weight of the past and present disrespect from people that say they love me would weigh on my happiness. When I would walk through the gates of hell for anyone that I love, not that I believe in that in heaven or hell, but I don't get the same love back. It's always been an uneven scale. I'm not going to put anyone on blast because that is not going to be helpful to my healing process. But I will mention things like, before I meet someone, certain individual would say negative things about me before I even meet someone, but never anything positive, like he is generous and kind and compassionate and would do anything for you. But this is not what happens. And then to sit up and let someone disrespect me and don't defend me and use the excuse that I can't tell people what to do, which is bullshit. But the thing people would always tell me, everybody doesn't think the same way you do about things. And I always thought that maybe it's me. But then I need to change, or who I am. But after a long consideration, I looked at myself and I thought, but I choose to do the right thing by those I love. And there is a big difference when you sit in silence or disappear and don't stand up for the people you love, right or wrong. If you don't stand up for your partner who makes you think anyone else is going to respect him or her, if you won't even stand in the fight with them, no excuses, like I don't know anything about the subject. And because you're my partner, I would stand with you right or wrong and never leave you to defend yourself. People ask for things from me and disrespect me with no care for my feelings. But it's okay. Now because I choose me, you can't burn down the house and give the people the fuel to burn down the house and watch them burn it down and then get pissed that the house is no longer there. I choose me. And like I said, the hardest thing about it is that when you pour into somebody else's cup and yours is always empty, okay? Yours is always empty. Because nobody ever comes to the person that's giving all of these things to their rescue. Nobody's asking them, what do you need? Nobody is asking, how can I help you? Nobody's asking that. On your days off, do you come see me? On your days off, do you come visit me? And I mean everybody. Now, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to put anybody out there because there's no need for that. There's a lot of blame to go around. There's enough blame to go around. There's enough blame for me. There's enough blame for the people that disrespected me. There's enough blame for the people that allowed those people to disrespect me. There's enough blame to go around for everybody. Now, I'm not trying to be some perfect person because I'm not. I've done a lot of things in my life that I regret and that I am doing my best to try to resolve and try to make better, treat people better, be more responsive to people's feelings, not do harmful things that hurt other people. And that's what I've dedicated 30 years of my life trying to do, is trying to repair the damage that I done when I was a young man. And I'm not, like I said, I am very humble when it comes to what I will give to people. I give to people everything that I have. If I have it, I want to share it with you. And just because I'm upset, there was Tupac said it. He said, just because we don't speak and we're not friends doesn't mean you made an enemy. It just means you can't eat at my table anymore. Not that I don't want to see you eat, but you just can't eat at my table. I love to see people successful. I love to see people living their life to the fullest. I'm the first person that would pat you on the back and say, man, you're doing good. I love it. I love it. And no jealousy intended. No conversation that would go back and say, oh, that person. I tell my wife that when she's describing something to someone and she's talking about what they've done or the things that they have, don't use the word little. Because when you use the word little, it takes away the importance of their achievements. Like if I say, Oh, you got a nice little car. That's a nice little truck. You're taking away from their achievements. Or that's a nice little house. Or now, oh, you got a nice little job. That's taken away from their achievements. That's taken away from what they've worked hard for. A lot of people don't understand it, and they think little is just a word that to be used. But you have to understand that when you use that word little, you belittle what that person has worked hard for. So I try to tell my wife that, she has to change that verbiage. That when you see somebody with something, that's a nice car. That's a nice house. Man, I'm glad you got that job. But when you use the word little, it belittles their achievement, their hard work, and what they've done to get where they wanted to get to. Now, I'm not one to sit up and feel pity or upset or mad about, things that have happened. Because the one thing I can tell you is that I stick to myself. And I've learned throughout the years that if you give all of yourself to somebody, it doesn't matter how much you do it, and they don't give you the same thing back, and it's not reciprocated, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. There was a quote that says, if my absence meant nothing to you, my presence meant even less. Now, I understand. I read and I get a lot of quotes from different people, but I learn about people's behaviors and I learn about what people want. Nobody wants to look in the mirror. Nobody wants to say, hey, that's my bad. I got to do better. I'm one of those people that do that. I will apologize. I'm not going to call you on the phone. I'm not going to text you. I'm going to come into your face because I want you to know that the apology should be greater than the disrespect, or the apology should be greater than the mistake. I'm not going to call you on the phone and see what's going on with you. I'm going to come and see you. If that's possible, I'm going to come see. I want to know, what did I do? And anytime that I haven't heard from anybody in a while that I know that I have a good relationship with, first thing I say is, hey man, we okay? Did I do anything? And if they say no, I'll be like, hey, well, what's up then? I ain't heard from you in a while. Oh, I got this going on. Okay, okay, I can accept that. All right, okay. But the one thing that I have noticed is that when you have a day off, or a couple days off, my gate is always open. Now, with the new transformation of me, I may necessarily not be here. But if there's people here you care about outside of me, you're more than welcome to come to my home. I may not be here, and I may not want to be here. Because the one thing that I am learning is self-love. And it is a hard road. It is a hard road. Self-love is difficult. Because that means you have to cut people out of your life. That means you have to let people go that you thought loved you the way you love them. Now, I'm not one to trample on anybody's faith. I'm not one to, I can have a spirited debate about religion and heaven and hell and God and the devil and all of that. I can have a civil debate about that. Doesn't change my mind, and I'm not trying to change yours. But I'm trying to get you to see that there are other options, there are other opinions outside of yours. And somebody once told me, why do you continue talking to the same person about the same thing and you get the same result and they don't change? The reason that I do is because there may be somebody in the background, or there may be somebody in that conversation, or there may be somebody that's listening from afar that may listen to that conversation and say, you know what? He's got a point. And maybe that person might change. There was a gathering that we had probably about maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And there was a conversation about politics. And there was an individual that was from Arkansas and Kentucky. He was a father of a friend of ours. And I was having a conversation with somebody I know, and we were talking about politics. And we were talking about how race plays a lot of the efforts in how politics work. And after the conversation, which me and this person that I was talking to about politics, we've had conversations about politics, race, and all of that before, and it never made a difference in how he thought or how this person thought. But after the conversation, I got up from the table and we squashed it. It was civil. I got up from the table, and the gentleman that was the father of our friend, and I have to say he was a Caucasian gentleman, he comes up to me and he says, hey, can I talk to you for a minute? And I was like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, just come over here. He's like, you know what? I'm from this really racist town in Kentucky. And I want to ask you something. He says, how do you feel about being a black man and being a veteran and fighting for this country that would spit on you if you were on fire, wouldn't spit on you if you were on fire? And I was kind of at a loss of words at first when he said that. And then he said, can you help me understand that? And I thought for a minute, and I said, well, first of all, I didn't just fight for this country. I fought for the people that came before me. I fought for my ancestors who had to deal with slavery. I fought for my ancestors who had to deal with Jim Crow. I had to fight for my ancestors who had to deal with segregation. I had to fight for my ancestors who have to deal with redlining. I had to fight for my ancestors who built their own communities, and the communities were burnt down because white people were jealous. I had to fight for those people, and that's what I continue to fight for. Now, there's a gentleman on the internet, I'm not going to use his name, but he talks about black people that marry white people. And he's an African American. And I would say this, he's a Marcus Garvey follower, which I have no problem with that. People ask me, are you pro-black? I say, no, I'm pro-human. If you tell me because I married somebody that's not the same color, or I love somebody that's not the same color as me, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. And I'm going to be honest with you, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Is nobody falls in love with color. They fall in love with the person, with the human being. And you're going to tell me, because I married a white woman, that my blackness is null and void? You're an idiot. Because I can tell you right now, okay, there is no black person in the world, anywhere, in my culture or ancestrally, that I would deny the love for them. Now, understand this. I don't put one race above another, because that would mean that I'm prejudiced. I look at it like this right here. If you're going to fight with me, I'll fight with you. If you're going to stand with me, I will stand with you. I don't care what your color is. Now, I do care about what your ideology is. Okay? Because if you believe that there's a place for me and it's not standing next to you because of your color, then guess what? I can't get with that. I can't get with the many of black Republicans who stand up and try to deny reparations or restoration of what black people have contributed to this country. I'm not a fan of that. But I do have an idea, and I'm going to express that right now on how we can do reparations without inflicting pain on those so-called racists. First thing is that every African American that has an ancestral lineage to slavery never ever for 400 years have to pay federal, local, or state tax. If you walk into a grocery store, you do not have to pay sales tax. If you go buy a new car, you don't have to pay sales tax. If you buy a new house, you don't have to pay sales tax or property tax. Every African American that has a slavery ancestral DNA lineage never ever has to worry about medical care. Build hospitals and laboratories that specifically work on the health and welfare of African Americans. Now, that's not the only thing. Is that as an African American, you can volunteer for the military, but you cannot be drafted. It's kind of like the Mormons, or not the Mormons, but the Amish. You can volunteer for the military, but you can never be drafted. Another thing is that education from kindergarten to college, if you choose to do so, and any trade school, you will never have to pay for tuition, a place to stay, or food. Now, that ends the idea that we're going to cut every African American a check. How do you quantify how much we're owed? Now, let's just say you say every African American will get a check for $20 million. I get that. I do. But for 400 years, being under the boot of racism, is $20 million an equal sum to quantify the pain that we've gone through? I don't know. Some people may say, people that don't have the $20 million may say, yeah, I could just take the $20 million. But what I am offering is a way for us to build our own. Now, another thing is that bank loans will be zero interest. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to pay the bank loans back. but there will be zero interest on the loans, and there will be black owned banks that are created. And I'm not talking about separate, because I can say white people can go into the black bank and open an account, but these black banks are going to be specific to taking care of the needs of the people that are financially ignorant. The people that don't know anything about stocks, the people that don't know either about bonds, and the bank will be a fiduciary, meaning that they only work in the interest of their customers. There will be no more redlining. If you're caught redlining an African American, you will lose your license to be a retail or a real estate agent or a bank. These are the propositions that I have for reparations. And you're going to tell me that they're not doable. Well, we can't do this. You can. And it won't cost a dime, because if you can send billions of dollars to Israel, if you can send billions of dollars to Ukraine, and you can spend billions of dollars on the Pentagon, and you can give billions of dollars to ICE agents and the DOJ, you can do this. It's always funny how the government can find money for everything that they need, but for the people of this country, they can never find a dime. And another thing is that no African American will ever be homeless. Ever. If you find a homeless African American, they will be offered benefits to get them back on their feet. That includes mental health. That includes physical health. That means financial health, whatever they need. There will be no such thing as African American homelessness. Now, I know for a fact that the government will never do it. Just like the government has never ever, and I mean never ever, even on their way out, has never ever apologized for slavery. Has never ever apologized for what African Americans' efforts have done to build this country. They have done everything in their power to take it away, to make it disappear. And that's okay, because fortunately, we're keeping it alive. Now, people say, well, why aren't you out there in the streets marching with all those other people? I say, well, because marching doesn't do anything. Praying doesn't do anything. We've been praying for 400 years. We've been praying for 400 years for equality. Nothing special. But they've been praying for 400 years. We've been marching for almost 250. Okay? And every time something happens with African Americans, it just disappears. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, Fidel Castro. All of these things just poof, they go away. And it's not just because they poof and go away. And I'm not blaming just white people. I'm blaming black people. Because the one thing I can tell you, look in history. Look in history. There have never been anything such as a bloodless revolution. Never. When the colonizers want something, they take it. And they don't care how many people they have to kill. They don't care how many women they have to rape. They don't care about how many children they have to blow up. But when they want something, they take it. They don't ask. They don't come and ask you and say, hey, we're just moving into America, and, we just wanted to know if you'd share America with us. No. Trail of Tears. Blanket with smallpox. See, it's easy for us to forget because we've got our feet kicked up on the banister on our front porch. Because we all of this right here, all of this we have. And the thing is, the biggest thing is that we're afraid to lose it. We're afraid to lose it because guess what? We worked hard for it. But it means absolutely nothing. Think about all the millionaires and billionaires out there, the black millionaires and billionaires. Where is there a black-owned hospital that caters to the health and welfare of black people? Where are they? Oh, you got movie studios. You know, you got basketball shoes. You got arenas, sports teams. But what about the culture? What about the help for the culture? Now, I'm not saying that there's no black people out there that are millionaires and billionaires not doing something to benefit the culture, not doing something to benefit African Americans, but you rarely see it. You rarely see it. What about all these billionaires and millionaires get together and buy a TV network for news, for information, for you to go to and get things that are black, tell you about black companies that are mom and pop black companies where you can go and support. Not just black movies, not just black music, not just black athletes, but things that are actually going to help those black people that are struggling every day to make ends meet. To make ends meet. You know, I mean, it doesn't take a lot. But you got to ask, okay. And I'm like I said, I'm not bashing millionaires or billionaires. Hey, they got their money, cool. Hey, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. But you also got to ask yourself, what are you doing? Where's a black-owned hospital? Where's a black-owned mental health clinic? Get a TV, get a news station. Buy a news station. Put the information out there. Not just rap, what the rappers are doing, what the celebrities doing, because I could care less about them. I don't care about celebrities. I don't care about athletes. I don't financially support them. I don't give my money to them. I don't go to games. I don't watch them on TV. Now there are some black actors that I'm like, okay, yeah, I watch their movie because I like their movies. But I'm not gonna spend my money going to see you. And I don't spend my money on entertainment for anybody. Like I don't go to movies. I don't go to basketball games, baseball games, concerts. I don't do that. Because not one of them people that are standing up on stage know me. Not one of them. And not one of them will ever look at this post and say, hey man, what can we do for you? Or what can we do for the people you love? Or what can we do for the culture? You tell us. I got ideas. I can tell you what you could do with all that money. Now, I'm not saying that, if I had that money, yeah, you do. You have to be careful with some of the people you help. And I'm not saying all black people are good. But you do your research. Find out who those black people are that are true. True to heart. True to action. True to feel what the black culture actually means and what they're going through. Because I can tell you right now, the middle class and the poor people are suffering. Oh my God, we're suffering. See, you rich folks, y'all don't have to worry about what the price of milk is. You don't have to worry about the price of eggs. You don't have to worry about that. I'm fortunate because I get my own eggs. Right out back, I have chickens. I get my own eggs, and you know, I haven't bought an egg in the grocery store in probably about 2 years. And man, let me tell you something. If you ever had farm fresh, and they are farm fresh, baby. I mean, right out of the chickens. Okay. I go out there, I get them, and I used to share them with a lot of my friends and family and stuff like that. And I like I said, with what I just said before this, is that I have to learn self-love. I have to pour more into me than what I pour into other people, because not everybody is deserving of what I have or what I have to offer. Now, if you see, I got my body armor, my stuff on. I got a full plate in the front. It's a level 4. Got a level 4 in the back. Got my magazines here. 9mm. Okay, I love the 9mm because it's one of the easiest rounds to come across if you ever are in a situation where you have to look for ammo. This is my main carry right here. I carry this with my CCW, and it is my CZ P01 all metal frame. So the metal is not like scratching up and ripping apart the polymer that is the lower part of this. Now, I know if this is going to go on YouTube or FaceTime or Facebook, I may not be able to show this, but only thing you see is the handle. I'm not pulling it out because I don't want to violate any YouTube or Facebook's ideas about guns. The one thing I can tell you about guns is that my guns have never walked out of my house and and killed anyone. You want to ban them? You know, don't ban the gun. Ban the idiots that carry them, that go out to do harm to people. That's what you do. Now, like I said, I'm going to end on this note. I want to let you guys know that I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I don't hate you. Like I said, I hope you eat. I hope you're successful. But if you don't hunt with me, you don't eat with me. And that means that when you got time, if I am an option and not a priority, stick with your priorities, because I refuse to be an option for anybody. Okay? All right. I love everybody. I love you guys. And this is Theo from I Ain't Everybody's Uncle. And like I said, check out my post. And I'm sorry that at the beginning it had to be a little bit of downness. But I've got another post that I'm getting ready to do. Me and my wife are working on our master bedroom downstairs. We're going to do some crazy stuff to the walls. We're going to put up what they call beadboard. I'm going to do that on Saturday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, I'm going to videotape what the shower looks like. Now, it's not complete. We've had some problems with installation. And the company is supposed to be coming out to fix the problems with some of the stuff that they did with the installation. We got a pony wall in the bathroom now, and it's going to have a piece of glass, and I'll show you guys that on the next video. I'm gonna go in here and take this stuff off because it's a little hot out here today. It is 97 degrees, but man, I love the heat. I'm gonna tell you, I love the heat. I'm in the heat, man. This is my jam right here. Uh, so I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna show you the bathroom, what we're gonna do, and like I said, we're gonna start working on that on Saturday. We're gonna try to videotape a little bit of it, but I don't know, because it's probably gonna take us maybe about 2 hours to put the beadboard up and the upper strip, doing all that measuring and cutting, and I have all the tools here to do all that. What I would like to do is I'd like to get me a table saw. I don't have one of those yet, but I'm gonna look around and see if there's any table saws that are on like Facebook Marketplace. I'd like to have a table saw where I can do large pieces of stuff that I'm gonna cut. But I've been doing some work around here, and had to redo my irrigation. That was a pain. And that's it. And I had to put one of my chickens down, and I'm sad about that. And she was in a lot of pain, and she wasn't doing too well. All right, guys. I love you guys, and I want you guys to stay strong. Peace, love, and happiness. And this is Theo from I Ain't Everybody's Uncle. Love you guys, and have a good one.